All right, welcome, Nitty Gritty. We're back. We have Cydni Beer with us. Is that how you say your last name?
Yeah, beer.
Okay, perfect.
Beverage.
No wonder you're a good time.
Like the frosty beverage.
Like the frosty beverage.
So I'm excited because this is going to be a lot of fun. Because Cam was like, what do we know about Cydni? I was like, I don't know a lot, but she is really funny.
Thank you.
And so I just wanted to have a good time.
And Brent has been a fan for a long time, we found out.
Which is kind of a big deal.
It is
I
kind of a
appreciate
deal.
that.
Like, I'll bet Brent follows what, like 7 people?
Maybe 10.
Maybe 8?
Wow.
And she's one of them?
Brent doesn't pull punches. Like, if he doesn't like someone, he's not going to follow him.
Like, he doesn't follow Nitty Gritty.
Shut up. Oh, my gosh. I was about to get mad.
I'm going to check to see if you ever unfollow me then. And be like,
Do you
am I
have
doing
that?
okay this
Do you
week?
know?
No.
Have you ever done that before?
Yes.
Yeah, I did that for about a week. And
I
it's
did.
not
I had an
healthy.
app
Yeah, right. That's what I
for
had.
like the first 6 months. I know.
I ended up texting like 10 people. It's like, excuse me?
I am so glad you said that. I messaged a girl from high school and she unfollowed me. And she like didn't even like me in high school. I wasn't cool. She was like the coolest girl.
We are both wasps.
And I was
How
like,
dare you?
hey, Cassie, I noticed you unfollowed me. Was there something wrong? Did I do something wrong?
What'd she say?
She was like, I'm so sorry. I'll follow you back.
What's your high school mascot?
Rough Rider.
We are Rough Riders.
Rough
You
Rider.
Stay following me.
There's only like 40 of us. I mean,
Where'd you go to high school?
Pima, Arizona High School.
my gosh,
I know.
really?
Yeah.
So it was like DMX, like your
No, we just like were like
anthem.
You're on the dad joke train today. I love it.
it was more like an empty barrel and you like throw your trash in it and set it on
my
fire.
gosh. Now
You're
that
like,
song's
this
going to
is
be in
a
my
good
head the
old
rest of the day. Rough Riders Row. Oh my gosh. Pima, Arizona.
I know.
That's hot. So that's why you're not hot in the office.
No, I love
Right.
saunas. Anything.
Oh my gosh. It's so
Hot.
hot there.
I think 65 is too cold. Like, when did winter arrive?
Why are you here?
Could we just go back to the one part about messaging the girl? Because I did not complete that.
It's funny.
Don't
'cause
do it.
I
I'm
interrupted you
still
on
embarrassed.
that because I realized when I said we're wasps, like that's my high school mascot.
Wasp?
But now it means white Anglo-Saxon, whatever. Like people actually say it, like refer to white people as a wasp. So I don't want people to say like, we're both wasps. You should follow me. It's the little buzzing satanic bug I was talking about. Okay.
We're the Rough Riders.
Relax. We're
Yeehaw.
Rough Riders now.
Yeehaw, yeehaw. Actually, that's what we said.
Okay. So you messaged her.
Yeah. And then I told my real life friend from high school, and she makes fun of me every week. Every week she'll bring it up. She'll be like, hey, remember when you messaged someone because they unfollowed you and you made her follow you back? That was it. I just wanted, if anyone is out there and
Is
they
she
get
still
one,
following you?
you know what? I checked it this morning. It's going to be okay.
You gotta have a tough life. You got 100 and something thousand followers.
You know, it's so hard to check on everybody.
I was gonna
Make sure they're
say,
still following
man.
I have to message people every day. Why'd you unfollow me? Did you not like that tweet? You know, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. It's the business.
Well, the best was she asked Brent when she found out that Brent was following her, like, well, did I buy you?
That was hilarious. Oh, did I buy you?
I've never, though.
Oh,
I've just asked people why they unfollowed me and I bullied them to follow me back. That's it. Anyway, I'm in Utah because of a boy,
Okay.
but he's from Iowa, my husband.
Interesting.
I know.
So how are you just going to school here or something?
No, I met him when he was on his mission in my town. That story.
Oh, you're one
That
of those.
girl.
So how early did he go home?
We were pregnant. Just
He hit 19 months. It was close enough.
once the belly was showing. Was that inappropriate?
No.
It's not
Yes.
true. It's a lie.
Loved it.
No, so Ben, my husband, he's super fancy and confident fashionista. And so when he came into our
He's
small,
got shoe game.
yeah, that's right. Mass amount.
Yes.
Oh, he loves shoes. Yeah.
I wouldn't know what he's talking about.
Nope. Open
Who's the
closet.
shoe person?
We both are.
What shoe? Which style? All? Everything?
Sneakers.
Yeah.
He's sneakers and currently Taft.
Yeah, so we
He
had
won't
Taft
stop
on.
by. You did?
Yeah.
Tafts are awesome.
They're a beautiful shoe.
Yeah.
I don't even like shoes that
You
much.
got to
and
be
they're
confident to wear Taft. So
He's confident.
yeah.
So when he came into our small town, it was like, whoosh. I was like, what is that? Like, he didn't have any of
All of a
those.
sudden, you had 3 dinners a night for like a month.
At the same house?
No,
Right.
my family, they're not Mormon. Well, they're not active. They're Jack Mormons.
Right.
And so the missionaries were X'd off from our house. They were like, don't go to this house. Save your soul. So I had to go to my friend's house. They were very holy. And the missionaries were over there all of the time. So whenever he would be over there, I would just call her. Or no, she would call me. And she'd say, hey, Sid.
Is that real?
The elders are coming over. And I would be like, I got to go over to the Bill's house for dinner right now. And then I'd walk in and be like, hello, Elder Beer.
So growing up, I mean, did you just know the missionaries because like your family had grown up in the church and had left, or
yeah,
like how did you know about that?
Well, so our whole family went to church on and off, but my dad worked Sundays, and so we just didn't go often. And then they kind of stopped going, and I just went with my grandpa.
Okay,
I just kept going. So I've gone but I wanted to. I wanted to be there, so I went. So I knew all about the missionaries, but I never had a crush on one until
he showed up.
Until the glorious Ginger walked into Pima, Arizona, and then I was like, oh man, I'm like, how do I make this happen, God? What do I need to do?
That is so funny.
So what happened?
True.
How did that story
Are we going
go?
into the story?
Yes, heck yes, we're going. We just found out.
Yes, we did. Can I give the shout out to her? Stephanie Cannon. She listens to every show. She's my neighbor.
Okay.
And yeah, she said last night that, you know, we do have a pretty, I would say, predominantly
like
female
82%.
demographic, right? Or followers, and so, or listeners. Followers, sorry. We're talking to a social media juggernaut, so that's why I'm talking like that. But she said, whenever like the how you meet story comes up, like dive into that more. We love that stuff.
I love it too.
Well,
Okay,
it's funny because like I'll be golfing with the buddy, and my wife will be like, so how's the family? How's his wife? And like she could like just had a baby or is pregnant. I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, how's this? And I'm like, I have no idea. She's like, you drove just 4 hours with him and you never asked? No. What'd you talk about?
Sports.
The jazz, his shoes,
chicks,
crappy shots he just hit. Like, that's what we talked about. So, yeah, it's not natural. So that's why we're going to dive into it.
It's super natural. I have the same conversation with Ben. I'm like, so, Brad at work, how's it going with his wife? Are they good? Are they having a good marriage right now? How many times a week do you think they... And he's like, stop. I don't want to even go there. I'm like, everybody goes there. And he's like, no, they actually don't, just you. And I'm like, oh, I had no idea. I thought
how many times
I thought that was natural. Just want to judge.
Family prayer.
Just how many are they reading their scriptures every night? Wink, wink. Anyway.
Such a great transition into how you met your missionary.
For sure. Right.
Well,
talking about, never mind.
Okay,
I had a really good one, but I think it might have been just
over
a little over the line.
Can you edit if I do go over that line?
For sure.
That's uncomfortable for other people.
Yeah.
For a fee.
If it's really good, it's
I
a
just
little more
spent all my money on followers. What do you want me to do?
That's right. Brent, give her a refund.
Okay, so now when you grow up in the church as a young woman, it's pretty common that they have you write a letter to your future husband. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that, actually.
I don't know that I have.
It's a little creepy, but yeah.
A little creepy, yeah. It was pretty creepy. I was not down because, my parents were on the verge of divorce since I was born. They were like, oh my gosh, having another one. And so I was not thinking about marriage. And so I remember being probably 12 at girls' camp in the wilderness, and Sister so-and-so was like, okay, ladies, we're going to go ahead and pull out some stationery. We're going to stamp it first. And then we're going to write a letter to your future husband. And I was like, ugh, what? And everyone was like, we're going to pray together every night and sing and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I want you to have a really cool last name. So if I become famous, my name sounds great. Love
you wrote that?
Yeah, that was my letter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
His last name was Anheuser-Busch.
So it became a thing. Like every time an elder came into town, they would tell me, Sid, there's an elder, whatever.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And
so you could judge their last name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never was satisfied until one day when I was doing church announcements, because I was the president of I forgot what they're called. My maids.
My maids.
They're
not? Right?
I don't
when
think
did
so.
That happen? Oh.
People who are not Mormon are going to be so confused right now.
They really are. What's a my maid?
It's fine. It's how we do it.
It's the person that cleans my house. My maid.
My maid.
Dad joke.
Oh, it was good.
Wearing off on you.
You are.
Okay, that was good. but I'm not distracted. I'm going to keep going.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
So Elder Beer came strolling into Pima.
A lady in our ward said, Sid, there's an Elder Beer. And I said, that's it.
That's the one.
That is the one.
4-letter word. That's
Yeah,
what I wanted.
it was
Single syllable.
Perfect. It was perfect. I was like, my brothers actually have a chance of liking him, and like this could work. And so I started planning our wedding before I met him. But then one day I walked into my friend's house, and there was this beautiful redhead. And I have at this point I never had a boyfriend. And
How old were you?
17.
Okay.
And I was very awkward and super, self-conscious, all the same stuff as most people.
Right.
And then I told my friend, I was like, I don't care what his last name is. I don't care if it's Smith. I'm going to marry him. And I did marry him. And his last name is Beer.
That's crazy. So how did that go? So he goes home. So how did that happen? That communication where it's like, okay. It's on now.
Well, it's such a long story. So it's difficult.
No, let's hear it.
I'm just, a law of attraction. I put him on my Pinterest
On
board
vision
before.
board.
Yeah, my vision board. That was the only thing that was on there. I prayed every night. I was like, God, what? Seriously, how many kids do I have to close this deal? So his little brother ended up going to the same college in Arizona as I did because I told him to.
Wow.
Hold on. What?
So Ben, Elder Beer, told a group of girls, write my brother so he'll go to this school in this small town because it will be good for him and I think he'll like it.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I see this connection. If I get in good with the family, they will already love me.
I really
and
like
they will
that you had
encourage
set
this
like a goal.
to marry him.
Didn't we just have somebody else that played? Oh yeah,
Ashley.
your cousin Jeff
Oh yeah.
and Ashley Hatch. It was like a 3-year process. He was like,
Okay.
I'm in it for the long game, and he set his goal, and he went after
her?
it. Yep.
Yeah, it was the opposite. I hold that against him now.
But you weren't the opposite. You got his brother to town so you could stay connected.
Yeah.
You were playing the long game.
I was. You're right.
You had a goal. You wanted that redhead and
I mean,
last name.
It was a good letter. I wrote it well.
Cursive.
There's some poetry and drawings.
So you really wrote his little brother and convinced him to come to college.
Yeah, we wrote back and forth twice,
Okay.
but then so did a few other girls.
Yeah.
And so he says it was my letter that brought him in, which was a little awkward later because I think that, let's just not go there.
He probably, yeah.
It was the first time I ever used somebody. And the only time. No, I didn't flirt at all because I didn't know how. But anyway, so we did end up going to the college, and I met him once, and that was it. And then because he went to that college, when Ben was off his mission, he drove him back to the town. And I knocked on his door when he was staying there, which is honestly wild because I really was so shy, especially around boys.
Right.
And I heard he was in town, and I said, look, because previous to this, someone told him that I was planning our wedding. And I mean, you guys, I was like, my dad's a pig farmer.
Somebody told him that?
Yeah. They're like,
That
that
was
poor little Cydni. The little girl that wears the same shirt every day and a snot down her face.
She made a doll of you. And it's in
She
her
has
room.
it's huge. It's not little. It's like a full size doll. Yeah. So I was so embarrassed because we were just like the poor family, and it was just, I was not cool, and he was so fancy. And so I thought my chance was over. And then the same lady that told him that I was planning the wedding, she was like, isn't that cute? And he's like, so cute. Ha ha. And I was like, you ruined it. And but he came back through. She told me, I said, look, if God wants us to get together, he already thinks I'm a stalker because I was a bit of one. And so I can't go and I can't do that. But I did. It was the last day I drove by his house on my way to my drama class in college because I was now 19. And I was like, I had a moment of bravery. You know, that movie Buy a Zoo or whatever? We Bought a Zoo. That's such a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's so
Just watched that, like,
good.
a month ago.
There's good lines in it.
Yep.
But he says, he's like, you have to have that 20 seconds of insane courage. Well, I did that. I did it.
At 19.
Yeah, at 19. I went and knocked
impressive.
on that trailer, and I was like, hey, my class was canceled, which for the record was a lie. So it started on lies.
So you used his brother.
Yeah.
You lied to get to him.
It all worked out.
Yeah. And now we're so happy because I said so.
Yeah.
Or else. But the class ended up being canceled. So God made an honest woman out of me that day too. So it was blessed. Yeah, I know. It was good.
Okay, so what happens? So you knock on the door.
I could
Talk
see,
to him.
I could visualize it right now.
Okay.
His shaggy red hair. He had this knitted green sweater on, and I was like, oh gosh, because amazing. And so then he said, hey, you want to come in? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I acted cool. We went out to Subway, and he gave me his phone number. And then he came to Utah because his family moved from Iowa to Utah while he was on his mission. And then we'll wrap this up with this, that I came out to visit him right before my next semester started, and I never went home. I called my family and I said,
Wow.
I'm not going back to Arizona
Really?
ever again. And I didn't. And I got married.
I think if I came to Provo or wherever you were from Pima, I probably wouldn't go back either.
Yeah.
Pima
probably.
is tiny.
Pima is tiny.
I was
And
just like
dirt,
confirming that I had the right
Yeah.
like town in mind.
Is there
That's
actual
what I pulled
pictures
up.
of it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a more like
There's
Mormons
good people.
settled it.
It's a mini like Provo, I would say. It's a mini Provo.
It says there's only like 2,000 people.
There's 40 students in my class.
But yeah, it was founded by Mormon settlers, so it's like a little Mormon compound.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like small town people. Everyone married their cousins. It was beautiful.
It's fine. But yeah, it is
It's
teeny.
small. And I love the mountains and the trees.
I was
And
going to
there's
say it's a
mountains.
pretty part of this. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Supposed to be
no,
Mexico,
Pima is
right?
not a pretty part of it, but Utah is so beautiful.
Oh, I see.
My brothers think Arizona is like the most beautiful state. They
Arizona
get.
has its. Well, so I lived in Gilbert for a couple of years.
Oh, you did?
Not that Gilbert's like pretty, but obviously there's some really pretty parts of Arizona. Flagstaff.
I'm grateful that you feel that way.
Yeah, but yeah, you have to get out of the desert pretty much.
Golf courses are awesome.
The golf courses are awesome. Yeah.
I never loved it, honestly. My brothers get tattoos of Arizona, though. One of them has a big tattoo of Arizona on their calf muscle. I'm like,
It's
okay.
just not really a known shape. Like that's not. It's not like putting Florida on your leg, right? You know that's Florida, but Arizona.
You normally
Yeah.
see Texas and California on people.
Totally right.
Not my brothers.
That's
They represent. Anyway, that's the story. That's where we're at. We have 3 kids.
How long have you been married?
15 years.
Wow.
He was my first boyfriend.
So you're
Only.
35 now? Am I doing
you.
the math right?
That shout out. Would you like my
Hey,
weight?
15 years. 15 years. That's just what we hit. My wife and I.
Really?
Yeah.
When's your anniversary?
July 28th.
May 28th.
Holy
If you need advice, I've been married longer than you.
You have. That extra 2 months might really help. That's awesome.
Congratulations. 15 years it
It's-
feels cool, actually. Well, I told Ben, I was like, 15 and 14 have been cool. Like 9 through, that was a little rough. But the others were great.
Because the kids were probably at a certain age, right?
Yeah, it's the kid thing, don't you think?
Kids.
They're exhausting.
That's the hard part of marriage. I'm convinced that once the kids are all in school, that's when marriage really begins.
when
I
it begins.
I
Well,
think
yeah,
so.
like you have the fun time right before they're born, but then no,
Then
it's
it's
fun
miserable.
with kids. I'm just saying the marriage part, right?
It's
Like
just
you're by
hard.
yourself, like you're having fun. It's you have nothing else to focus on, but then you have kids, and then the wife forgets about the husband
Yes,
for 13 years
roughly.
and running.
Yeah.
and still-
Occasionally
no,
a
just kidding.
weekend.
Yeah, okay. Except my birthday and Father's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy
so-
Christmas or whatever.
No, but it is. I mean, it is hard because being a mom is a ton of work. Like that's a hard job, and moms just have. It's just it's a connection that it's. I'm getting all serious now, but it's great. Like she plays board games and cards and colors with that, and I'm like, I don't know
She
if it's
knows
the
that
ADHD.
iPads exist, right?
Well, there's
kidding.
plenty of those too, but it's like it's cool that she'll just sit down and play with them. I'm like, I don't want to play cards with my kid, But moms
think
are
you
amazing,
just-
and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I think you just have to know that it's time to adjust.
Right.
I feel like there's a different season for everything.
Totally right.
And so there's
It's not
that.
about me anymore.
No, but also that it's important to remember the spouse.
Amen. Do you guys date or anything still? Like, how do you keep the fire burning at 15 years?
Well,
Take that however you want. I was mostly talking about date nights, but
what do you mean by
whatever.
date night? Like, what
Right.
is that?
Scripture study, of course.
So I think that in our marriage, we are like an opposite role reversal where Ben is he communicates so well.
Right.
And I like miss the hamper. Like he has all the shoes and I'm like, I don't understand why you think that these flip-flops look bad with this outfit. Like and so I think that from my perspective, Ben is the one he's
the diva.
Communicates. Oh, I wasn't going to say diva.
Well, I said it. I'll say it.
I wasn't going to say high maintenance.
Right.
Needy. I wasn't going to say that. But since you brought it up.
We're both going to be in trouble. I love it.
I know. This is my test to see if he listens.
That's right.
If he doesn't get mad, I'll be like, you didn't listen to my podcast.
You like, oh, did you like it? He's like, yeah, I loved it. You're like, yeah, you
like, you're
definitely
lying to
didn't
me.
hear it.
I win.
We
no
should
matter
do
what.
like a little secret line every episode. Just say like,
see if we get caught.
So
if you
someone
listen
says
to
they
this,
liked
you
it.
will repeat.
Oh, brilliant.
This. But anyway, yeah, my wife's probably not gonna listen either. But okay, so do you guys do date night? Like 15 years is a long time, especially.
This
I mean, you
is
got married what 20?
20.
Wow.
I know. Just a baby. So it's kind of a sensitive subject because he's been asking me to get a babysitter so we could go out on dates more.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been neglecting that. I did get a babysitter for the podcast.
Oh,
So I'm probably going to be in trouble. All of the jaw drops that just happened. Everyone just had.
I am sorry,
I
Elder
saw
Beer.
the emotion.
You poor man.
Did he ask you to ask this question?
He's like texting me right now. He's like, hey, now ask
like,
this one.
Bring up the unfinished dishes
Somebody
every
will
night.
be serving her papers right when she walks out.
Yeah.
Dang it. Held on for so long.
That is funny.
Um,
Is it hard for you to get babies? Like, there are a lot of wives that don't like the babysitter thing, right?
No, I love the babysitter.
Okay, you're fine
They're
with
like
that.
my favorite people.
Right.
I hug them when they walk through the door
They're
and
hard to
apologize.
find. It's hard
they
to find
are.
good ones,
so
right?
It's very difficult. But I just found a new one.
Right.
2 sisters that are adorable, and they've babysat for the last 2 weeks when I've needed. So
Nice.
I'm going to use them for a date night too.
You should do that. You'd probably be real
I don't know
happy.
what is inappropriate to share, but I would say
Nothing.
that intimacy is it. Like you're not always going to be able to get a babysitter,
Right.
but if you just have that connection, that
a lock on your
intimate
door
connection,
somewhere.
just hide in the pantry for
Fit in the
whatever.
pantry. Gosh.
Just go give the kids the iPad, let them watch a show for a minute. That is honestly, that's the key to success. And it's been hard because like when you have a new baby, you don't want to get touched because you're like, look,
Right.
I know what happens. I know where this leads. I'm going to have another child
I know
and my
what the
body's
outcome is.
going to like be out of control. My emotions and hormones are going to be out of control. So you're like, don't touch me.
Right.
But as they get older and you start sleeping more, I think like you said, like when they're,
Evens
well,
out a
my
little bit.
youngest is 4.
Okay.
But she
I was
sleeps.
just going to ask you. So, how many kids and what are
We
their
have
ages?
3.
Okay.
We have 2 boys, 10 and 7, and then our daughter is 4.
Nice.
So they're really fun ages.
Oh, yeah. My daughter just turned 4
I was
today.
going to say we pretty much have.
What?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
So glad we
Well,
could share her birthday together. Ivy is a cute name.
Yeah.
She's
4
a
is
cute
fun.
kid, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to say, what my heck? I was like, okay. That's what you're going to say when you wake
I
up.
can't believe some of the stuff they say.
That's incredible.
I don't even tweet half of it because I know no one will believe me.
Yep.
And it's so funny, but she always says, according to my research. She says that
4-year-old
all the
says
time.
that?
Yes, it's hysterical. But like, no one will believe that she says that. I need to get it on film.
Magic School Bus.
Yeah, I think it's the Octonauts or something. She likes that show. It's like it's something like that.
Narcos. On
Yeah, it's
Netflix.
definitely from a show. She copies what people say.
Right.
Like, and it's a gift the way she does
I
it.
do love how the kids do that. Like,
I love it.
Apparently is a new one in our house. So
Apparently, we say that too.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
She's been saying thank you for that honor.
4 is,
Cracking me up. She
4
says
is the best day. Like,
4 is
it's
the
a
best.
really fun.
I don't know what I'm gonna do when she gets older. I'll have no tweets.
Yeah.
Like my kids like start like ignoring me. I'm like, guys, give me something.
Yeah.
But she's so funny right now. But she'll if you let her like eat a bowl of cereal or ring the doorbell, she's like, thank you for that honor. Like, what? It's amazing. But we've been truly trying to figure out marriage forever. We just in the last year, I feel like are on such a great place again. It was wonderful before because it was just
Right.
us. And I like spoiled him. I'm like, we're never getting divorced. Here's lunch. And like, whatever. Like, let's go again.
Here's lunch. Let's go again.
So, you're enthusiastic.
I
and
didn't
then you
even
have
know
a new,
that phrase existed.
I meant lunch.
Well,
like
that's what I was
second
talking
lunch.
about. Like, here's lunch. Jeez, what did you guys think about?
It smells so good in here though.
Thank
really.
you.
Your barbecue.
It gets.
I'm getting at least with some, right?
I was gonna say it's. Of course you are. See, I think it's you smell good. Like you smell nice. So I'm smelling like
you.
perfume or something.
It's like bacon,
which is nice.
Perfume.
No, I don't want bacon.
Ben loves it.
I have too much meat and smoke in all my clothes. It's so.
You know, my dad's
it's
a
nice
pig
to smell something
farmer.
different.
So
you
thanks
mentioned
for
that
making
earlier.
It feel like home, except for he never gave us good food.
He sold all the meat.
He's like, the meat is not for you.
That's right.
Eat that cereal.
So when did you start getting into like the social media stuff? And how did it start?
Okay, it started 3 years ago. And I've had my account for just over 3 years now. And it started when...
Your Instagram was only 3 years old?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Now you're going to think I really did buy followers.
No, I'm not. Nobody really does that anymore, do they?
I don't think so.
That's impressive.
Maybe.
Anyway, sorry.
Thank you.
No one admits to it at least.
What?
No one will admit to it at least.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Unless I am, and I'm just being sarcastic, and you'll never know.
Brent does keep winking at her. I don't know what that means.
He's like, I'm leaving with $50 today. So I always have turned to writing. When I was a little girl, that's how I coped with anything. I wrote, and I mean, I could have done drugs and like had sex, but nobody ever offered. So I wrote instead.
Drugs are probably pretty prevalent in America.
Yeah, my brother got a hold of them pretty good. I'm like, how did no? It's just hard to not be popular, you know. So I always wrote, but then when I got married, I stopped writing because I had a new hobby. My husband.
I was gonna say my elder.
Yeah. So then I didn't write forever. And I wrote like poetry, mostly love poetry, because I hadn't had a boyfriend yet and I wanted to know what it felt like. So I was like Taylor Swift without talent and without a singing voice. I was like, where are you, Prince? And so, but then what happened was my third pregnancy, my third full pregnancy with my daughter Iana. I had placenta previa with her, and so your placenta covers your cervix, so it can cause mass bleeding, and it's terrifying because I didn't know it was that serious, because when I went in and they said, "Oh, you have placenta previa, so we'll want to watch that," and I was like, "Is it a problem?" And they said, no, like 98% of the time it's not a problem. So I didn't even Google it or look it up. I had no idea what it was. But one night when I was 26 weeks pregnant, I went in to check on my two boys, and I thought I peed myself because I felt warm rush down my body. And I was like, okay, I just peed myself. That's great. So I walk into the bathroom and I look and blood is gushing out of me. I was like, oh my gosh, I should have looked this up. I had no idea this was going to happen. And so that started our journey. It was intense and it was so hard. But I was on bed rest in the hospital for about 6.5 weeks. And then she went to the NICU. She was born at 33
in the
weeks.
Hospital the whole time?
On and off.
Oh, man.
So I was in for like 4 days, and then they let me out. But then that night I bled again and I had to go back. And then I was in until like 2 days before Christmas, which was amazing, a miracle that I was able to go. Right. And then right after Christmas, I was put back in until February. And so it was hard. It was really hard on our marriage. It was being away from my babies. Like it was terrible. And then while I was there though, I started writing again because I had nothing to do. I couldn't pay attention. I don't watch television as it is. And so I tried to watch TV shows and get into what everyone watches. And I couldn't. Like I didn't have the mental capacity. Right. Like I just was staring at.
Or you had too much mental capacity.
I don't know. It was terrible. I was like, please come talk to me, nurses. Come be my friend. Like I'll give you a back massage.
Kept pressing the button.
I know. I'm like, can I get some more ice? Do you have any salami? Yeah. So it was a little rough. But then
it's like, what kind of stuff did you start writing? Like
so
when you're in the
I wrote
hospital?
a blog.
Okay.
A blogspot.com.
Yep.
I don't know what it's called. I don't know
There's
where it is.
a lot of our podcasts that have started out with that.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't go anywhere.
Right.
It's like
but I
two
mean,
readers, me. I read it twice. But it got me into the habit again of just writing. And so then, and I shared it on Facebook with my friends, and I lied a lot in it, like sarcastic, because this is what happened. The only thing I could watch was stand-up comedy. So I just I'd watch it every day, and I just laugh psychotically while people passed by my room. So they were like, is she in the right hospital? But one time a guy said, he was doing his whole routine, and then he said, okay, this part's real. And it was like, what? Everything you said wasn't real? I had no idea. You could do that? You could just exaggerate and say what you want? And it changed my whole life. I was like, I can make stuff up. Like my general rule is 80% true, 20% exaggerated. Unless it's what my kids say, that's true. But I twist things a little bit and make it funnier. And that's what I did with the blog. Is I exaggerated what my doctor would say or what the nurses did or whatever it was. And I made it really funny, and people loved it, and it was great. And it took my mind off of stuff. And then when I got out, I had postpartum depression, like fiercely bad. Oh. And because I guess there's something with the NICU baby and in the hospital and our marriage, I just wanted, I don't know how to say it, like murder him, but that's basically what I wanted to do.
You said it pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was that clear?
That was pretty
Did I paint a picture?
It was decisive and clear.
I was like smothering by a pillow or pushing off a cliff. And
he needs to be eaten by a tiger.
yeah, the tiger, Carol Baskin.
Yep.
If only that was around then, and I would have had some guidance. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't familiar with murdering. So when I was going through that, my doctor recommended, because I finally went, I don't know how much detail you want there, but I did go and talk to my doctor eventually. And I didn't want to take medication.
How come?
So it's because my younger brother, he was medicated for ADHD at a young age. And then it was increased and then increased and then increased. And I just watched it happen. And then he was like into drugs and living a totally different life than the rest of us. And I just think that the pills, like he relied on them at such a young age. And he would even say, I forgot my pills today. So I was like, I'm never taking pills. But now I will if it's a caffeine pill. But that's it.
There's one of your boundaries again.
Yeah. Gotta have boundaries if you're a lady. Yeah. But yeah, so
I'll publicly talk about sex, but never will I take anything but a caffeine pill.
No, I really am a mess because I will not drink coffee, but I will have something that's equivalent to 19 cups of coffee.
Isn't that funny?
I will be comfortable talking about our sex life, but I'm not posting a selfie. That is ridiculous. Anyway.
I like that you're honest about it, though. Most people just won't even say that stuff.
Yeah.
They won't say that they have weird boundaries that don't make a whole lot of sense. Right? We all have those weird little rules we set for
that
ourselves.
Don't make sense.
Yeah.
I think if you preface it with you have to be the first to make the joke, right? Like, I know this doesn't make sense. I understand how hypocritical this is.
Or it's like when you say bless your heart, like you can say the meanest thing to something,
right?
But bless your heart.
Yeah, you can't just say with all due respect and say whatever you want after. Talladega Nights. But yeah, bless your heart is one of the most insulting things you could say to a person.
Is that in Utah? Do people say that, or is it just Texas?
It's Utah. It happens a lot. It's the older generation.
You're the stupidest person I've ever met. Bless your heart.
Do people really say that, or is it just a sketch? Funny?
No, I think older people say
I'm going to say it to my kids.
I hear it all the time. Yeah.
Starting now.
Like parents and grandparents, they'll just talk crap on someone. They'll go, oh, bless their heart.
Oh my gosh, I've been doing this wrong. That is a whole new world of content right there.
I'll switch to that instead of burn in hell. That's probably a little nicer.
Burn in hell I think that's so lovely. It's like country backwoods, right to the soul. I like it.
So you're doing all your writing on your blog. I mean, it's really a hard question to answer, but I don't know how else to ask it. But were you funny before?
Were you funny before?
How else do you ask that question?
I think you're born fun. I bet she was funny.
Yeah.
Well, there was a moment though, you see. It was, I was very shy. And so all of my family's sarcastic, and we're all the more witty sarcasm, sarcastic nature. And so I think it's there, but I was, again, 40 kids in my whole class. And in 8th grade, someone asked if I just moved there. So I literally was so quiet. I'm like, we've been in the same class since kindergarten. For real.
Gosh.
Yeah. So I was pretty quiet. But one day in biology class, I had to read out loud, which I dreaded. And I was reading instead of organism. Do you see where this is going to go? Yeah. This is a true story. I was reading and I read the whole paragraph. I said orgasm like 15 times and everybody was laughing, but I had no idea why. And then I realized I said it wrong. And at the end of class, people were like, that was so funny. You're hilarious. That's the same day someone's like, did you just move here? You're so funny. And I didn't know that I was funny because I didn't know what orgasm meant. And so I had to rush to the library and pull out an old school dictionary and look it up because I was like, what did I just say? I'm like, I know. High fives, high fives. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I say? And from then on, I was like, okay, here, this is my moment. I'm either going to have to cover this by being funny for the rest of my life or never talk again. So I'm like, I'm going to be funny forever. And that's where I'm at. But I started, instead of going on medication, I started tweeting and Instagram and sharing stuff.
Okay.
And that's it.
And that was your form of
Healing.
yeah.
That's my inner child healing on Instagram.
That's crazy. So in 3 years, you've grown pretty fast.
It feels slow because I do know accounts that are larger. And so you have to not compare.
Yeah.
But also I didn't know honestly, the last 3 years have just been me coping and healing and moving on. And so the fact that there's an audience, I'm like, oh, maybe I should do something. Right. Maybe I should start Instagram for real.
I mean, what gave you the idea to turn to social media? I mean, very few people are going to turn to social media for help. Most often they turn away from it and try to get help.
Hide.
Right?
Like real help. I'm like, social media holds my answers.
But a lot of people. But yeah, I'm really curious on what made you think, okay, this is going to work for me.
Honestly, it was really my doctor and my husband who both, they suggested instead of just doing that blog on Facebook that I start something because I had wanted to start a blog. I had a desire to write since I was a little girl. That was my dream.
Yeah.
And so there was a desire there. So it was just, I just got to a really, really, really low place and was like, F it. Doesn't matter. That's as much as I swear. That was it.
That's
F.
all right.
EFF.
Right. Isn't it funny that we speak EFF?
Yeah.
Why do I like the F with the little
Right. Yeah.
I like that more.
Just the dashes.
Yeah, the dashes or something fun.
Well, it's kind of like they're doing on TV now, where they actually say it. They don't beep it. It just turns into a little lip sync. So it's kind of smart because it
I wish you could
still kind of has the same
effect
on. Yeah.
I feel like the full F word has the best effect, but I don't use it when I listen to I didn't like the F word until after my third child. And then I liked it a lot. It was there's power in that word. She would cry and it'd be in my head, I'd just be full unedited F. And then I felt better. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, I started sharing stuff. I just did it. And I was so worried about people not following me or people not thinking I'm funny or people, someone from high school being
unfollowing
one day I'm going to follow her to unfollow her. And so all of those things. And then I just, because I was at such a low, I didn't care. And that was the best thing. I was the Mest Nest. Did you guys know that?
No.
When I started.
Wow.
The Mest
That's a
Nest.
good name, actually.
Well, I thought so, but someone on Twitter, a few older men asked if it meant that I didn't shave. And I was like, I'm going to change my name.
Oh my God.
Right now. They're like, is your name that because? And I was like, oh my God.
I thought I knew every one of those in the book. I have never heard that before.
Well, they were all
that's gross.
living in the 70s. So.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so I changed my name to my name. And that's the end of that chapter.
So when you started, were you posting the same type of stuff that you are now?
I did some videos in the beginning that I hope will die somewhere. I thought they were funny, but I look back and I'm like, oh.
I got in these videos.
So I did comedy, videos of just me talking. And then I did more pictures than I do now. I just have been a bit lazy the last 6 months, to be honest. And I haven't posted pictures, but I'm going to start. I feel like the last 3 years was just me healing, coping, doing my thing. And now I feel in such a good place that I might start doing other stuff.
Isn't that interesting? I feel like all the accounts that have a lot of success are just the ones that lay it all out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's a really hard thing to do because people do get self-conscious, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you start getting followers and like, do you read all your responses? Or you like, or do you say?
I read a lot of them because I try to reply to a lot. Because have you ever like messaged somebody and like I like message someone that's like more famous or medium, like has a cool podcast that I like. Like a couple years ago, I'm like, thank you so much for that. It really meant a lot to me. And then they never reply. And I'm like, what? So I try to reply because I hate that. I'm like, you're not that cool. Nobody is that cool.
It's so
Nobody
true.
is. So I do try, but I also try to be a mother and a wife too.
Right.
So it's a balance.
To balance for sure.
So do you do content like outside of just your posts for people? Because on there it talks about like you're a
content creator. I do write for some others sometimes, but I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that or not. Because I like writing for myself.
For their social stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, some bigger mom blogs.
Yeah.
I've done comedy and memes for them.
Okay.
But I kind of like doing it for myself more.
Yeah. When, like, as you got going, was there like a certain post that either went viral or all of a sudden like kind of jump, I don't know what's the right word, jump started? I'm really good with words.
I like leaped.
I use them a lot.
Words.
They got you going.
Jumpstart's probably a good one, right?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, well, I did Instagram for a year probably. And then I need a drink. Sorry. Okay. Leave that in. I really liked it. Okay, thank you. My hydro flask. Okay. I would say that one of the first tweets was that I couldn't believe it was retweeting. And I did Instagram for 1 year, and then I started Twitter after that. And I didn't know how to do it at all, either of them. But then I did one. My first one was about I said that I made my children rake leaves in the wind so they could understand what adulthood's like. I like that one still. I really enjoyed that one. And then that one went pretty viral. It was probably my first viral one. But then my real first viral one was for my 13th anniversary with Ben. I shared a love tweet. And it said that, and I don't know if you guys have read it, if anyone knows where I'm going. If you haven't, I probably will leave because then you're not real fans. Just kidding. I said that I was in the basement with my husband. We were watching a movie with his parents. And I fell asleep. And then I farted. And it was loud enough that it woke me up. And then he claimed it for me. And he was my boyfriend at that time.
True love right there.
It is true love. And so he claimed it. And I said, we've been married 13 years today. So that one went crazy viral. People were like, finally a real love story. And people did articles in Indonesia
about that.
Yeah. I get messages to this day of people saying, are you the girl that farted?
Oh my.
There's my legacy. You're welcome, children. Try to beat that.
That is, he's an impressive guy if he claimed it.
He did claim it.
Wow.
But I think they knew.
Like, that's way too loud for our son.
Like, he never smells that evil. Hydrate yourself, young lady.
So then as it grew, I mean, when did you know that you were like, or did you start it with the intention of like growing into something?
Well, I feel this is a conflicting thing because I have always wanted to be rich and famous. And when I was a little girl, poor pig farmer's daughter, eating macaroni and cheese with hot dogs in it on special occasions, I would say to myself, I would say to myself, like, I'm going to be so rich. And in fact, I read on some like horoscope type thing that if you have T's at the end of your name and you cross it on the top, you'll be rich. So I did that since I was like 7 because my last name was Crockett. TT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you capitalize both T's?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So since I was a little girl, like I didn't care what penmanship class was. I was like, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to put my T's capitalized at the end. And so I have always like, but I'm also not that money motivated. Do you believe me after that? No, probably not. It's understandable. I remember being like, I'm gonna have $10 million. No, I'm gonna have 100. I'm gonna have $150 million. So I'm a little bit money motivated, I guess. But I always wanted that. Like, I like that side of things. What was your question?
When you started with social, like, it was obviously to become rich and famous.
Right.
Like,
but also I'm so humble.
Yeah.
So, and money means nothing.
Andrew will teach you it's okay to be motivated by money.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong. I read
Right?
books.
You've got
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Good one.
It's a very good book.
I listened to it. I forgot what you said, but I did listen to it. It was good. I could say that I listened to it.
There you go.
No, I just wanted a different life.
Okay.
That motivated me. I wanted a different life for myself and a different life for my children. And so
Was your husband okay with it? Is he okay with you
sharing everything?
posting and
All of his deepest secrets? Like, sometimes he's like, a coworker walked up to me today and said, I can't believe what your wife said about you. And then I laughed so hard. I'm like, it is so funny. That's funnier than what I said. And so, like, I think because he is upper management at BMW.
Okay.
And so I think sometimes he's like, people follow and they hear what you say about our sex life. And I'm like, keep it up, champ. Give me content. So I don't know. No, he's absolutely supportive. I think in the beginning it was really hard because I was obsessive on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you get a little taste of it and you're like, I need to make it grow. I need this. And then you start comparing yourself to other accounts and you're like, they are doing so amazing. I need to do better. I need to post more. I need to be funnier. Like, you get in a panic.
Yeah.
So I was like that probably the first 6 months. And I did a lot of things wrong in the first 6 months because I was so obsessed about my followers, my likes, the comments.
Like, what were those things? Like, you say you did so many things wrong.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Just for people.
I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
The worst thing I did was advice given to me. Don't post nudes. Just kidding. Of your neighbors.
Like, please scroll down.
Kidding. I didn't. I'd probably have so many more followers if I did.
Don't post nudes.
I did the follow, unfollow. Have you heard of that? Do you know what that is? Do you do it?
I don't
do it.
I barely post anymore. I gotta pick it up. But yeah, I've heard.
So for the first
that.
couple of months, probably it made me sick. I couldn't do it. So you follow accounts, and they explained it to me. People that helped encourage me to start, and I really did trust them, and they still are good people. And it's just the way that some people did it in the beginning. But I think
They're still doing it that way.
They should stop. Listen to that. Stop. I think that, they explained it that it's like handing out a flyer and being like, check out my business, right? And so that sounds logical and fine. But then what you do is you unfollow them, which to me is like going into their living room and being like, give me back that flyer. And I couldn't do it. I was following like 7,000 people that I didn't know and weird accounts, and it was stressing me out. And I got to the point where I was like, and then your engagement sucks because
Exactly.
people are only following you because you're following them.
Yep.
And there's no real connection. I did, however, some of like my closest social media friends that might be catfishers long-term. I'm not sure because I've never met them, but I did meet them that way and I love them. And so it wasn't the worst, but I did stop. And if anyone asks me in a DM what to do to grow your account, I start with, don't do that.
Okay.
It's fraud. It's fake. It's lame. It's time consuming and it's mean. Those are real people. Yep. And some of them are real bots. Some of them are real bots.
Do you have someone like, Anna?
I do know
right?
Anna. Mm-hmm.
Did you have someone like that you like either took a course or were trying to learn from?
No, not for a long time. I sent Anna, I'm not mad, Anna. I sent her several tweets and memes when I first started and never heard back. Anna, because I wanted so badly to be shared on Kids Are the Worst. And so I did email her a few times. I had like 500 followers. And so I was like, I'm not big enough. And I did also reach out to like Scary Mommy and a few big ones and never heard back from anybody. And so nobody helped me. Not even my parents, who still don't follow me. But now I understand. I get it now, because I'll tell you this. Some people will reach out to me and ask me to share their new account. And I've done it a few times, but then they do nothing. They don't show up. And so I'm like, follow this person, trust me. And then they don't show up and they don't do it. They don't got it. And so I feel like that you have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are trying to figure out the shortcut. Like, how do I grow? How do I get people to share my things? How do I, and I'm like, you make it good enough that it's shareable, and then keep working and be okay with the slow growth. That's it.
Well, it's been the common story. Yeah,
Have
yours
you
has
ever
definitely not been
experienced slow
slow growth.
100,000 followers in
3 years. That's crazy.
It
I
was
just
like,
hit 10K at 7 years.
well, let me look at your content.
Well, I
I
mean,
post once a month, but still.
Well, there you go. But I'm doing a course right now with Anna.
oh, you are her
This is
challenge.
my first time doing anything like that.
Okay.
Because like I said, the first 3 years were just me. Honestly, it was truly just me like healing and
Yeah.
working through some things. And I just did it publicly. So for anyone who's followed me the last 3 years, thank you, because it's been a hot mess. Thank you.
Brett, good job.
I've been so up and down, no
Best
direction.
$20 she ever spent.
50. Wait,
50.
are people going lower? My husband's still mad at me.
So like now, like, so you did Anna's course. Are you trying?
I'm in it right now.
Are you trying to do something different? Are you trying to like double down, do something pivot, or just kind of make it a little bit bigger? Or like what's your goal
I think
with
I'm
it?
ready to be more, what's the word? I think I'm ready to have a more of a purpose with it instead of just whatever. I'm not much into like, I don't want to post ads and do that kind of stuff. It's not really my thing. I'm more minimalist, so it's hard to be like, you should buy this. I'm not going to. In fact, I'm going to get out of my house immediately because it's messing up my flow. So I'm not really, I want to make money doing it, but I want to make money writing.
Yeah.
If I do an ad a week after this,
I was going to say, I'm totally calling you out.
I did work with Betty's a little because I really wanted a Betty's.
Well, who wouldn't work with them?
I
They're
love
the
Betty's.
best.
Yeah. And I like their stuff so much. So occasionally I'll do a product, but I don't want to do
But that's the trick, right? I don't think ads are bad. You just want to keep them genuine. Like if it's something you actually love using and use it, then I don't think it'll feel like an ad.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some people where it's just nonstop. That's all they're doing is talking about other products.
Which
and
is
just like,
fine. If that's what you want to do, I don't care.
yeah.
I'm not going to buy it, but I don't care.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's hard because you follow somebody, and if they start doing that, like that's the
All the
hard thing. Is
time.
like the more popular people get, it starts turning into something you don't want to follow anymore, right?
There's a few things like I would get Nike stuff because I wear Nike workout clothes every day. So Nike, I'll get fit for that.
Wow.
But
Hold on.
That really happened?
I think I've had Nike
No.
everything for like the last 20 years, and I've never gotten anything from Nike.
you should.
You don't talk about your sex life online. You should do
That's
that.
all
I
you
don't
have
think
to
I've
do.
ever posted a picture of me with Nike.
Doing it all wrong.
That would probably help.
Wait, so they sent you stuff?
No, they didn't. I'm saying if they did, I would
they
change
did.
that.
Oh, yeah. I would
Yes.
do just about anything for that.
I mean, I could lie right now. No one will know. Yes, they did.
That is true.
They sent me boxes and boxes. Of
They sent me so much, I can't keep up. They're like, your body is so fit.
I've
Please,
decided to drop
wear our
Lulu and stick with Nike.
I'm devoted and commitment's important to me. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I've noticed a couple of themes with your stuff. You talk a lot about the remodel of your house,
Yes.
the renovation.
Yeah, I hate that. Thanks. Trigger warning. And then I need to call my husband right now and tell him I'm pissed. Hold on a second.
What happened with that?
So we started here's what happened. I kind of got under my postpartum depression under control. I was like, okay, I don't feel like jumping off a cliff anymore. Things feel good. Let's start a home renovation to calm things down. Yeah, it's just we've always wanted to buy a home and make it more modern, and those houses around here are pricey, like millions of dollars for a very little space. And so we thought if we did it ourselves, it would be awesome, and it's not awesome at all. It's the worst. We're not even like I don't even know what a hammer is for sure. I know what a fork is, a spoon, a knife. a blender, and that's about it. And so we just decided to start a home renovation, and it's been insane. It's not done. It's been 4 years.
4 years?
I know
Is it not done because you're picky and you keep changing your mind?
It's not me.
It's not you?
It's someone else in the relationship
Oh,
who I won't
it's the
mention, but
diva.
also an adult.
It's the elder.
He's a male.
Elder Beer. The diva.
Yeah. No, he does want things perfect. He's a bit OCD, and I'm the opposite of that. And so I'm
Right.
like, just throw a window somewhere; it'll be fine. But he makes it look gorgeous. But we also
Have you been living in it the whole time?
yeah. So for about 19 months, it was wretched. There was drywall everywhere. Our carpets were legitimately toxic. It was terrible. I'm like, if someone comes here, they are going to take away our children, and it's because we're trying to make a better life for them. So yeah, it's been a mess. It's been really hard to live in it, but now it's really livable. Now it's really beautiful. There's just like a wall and a bathroom that need to be finished. All the landscaping.
Yeah.
So
just 2 more years.
7. We're thinking 7 because we said 2 years at one time as a joke. We were like, wouldn't it be funny if this took 2 years?
Oh my gosh.
But it didn't. So
That does not sound fun.
yeah, I know. I should post more pictures of it.
It'd almost be better just to rent a house or like Airbnb or something for a year and just let them go in there and just bust
Just
it
get a
out.
tiny house and
Yeah.
that's it.
We know a guy.
Yeah, we had
We
the
had-
tiny house guy on here.
I just need like 5 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All
One for
connected
each
together.
of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Like our own space. Yeah, so it's not a very exciting topic to me because it makes me angry.
I was going to say, I've been scrolling through where I don't see anything
I just
about the
did a
home
post
remodel.
about it
Yeah.
like 2 days, yesterday or the day before.
Oh, maybe this one is.
Yeah, I did.
See, I was reading all your posts and they're so funny,
Thank
but I haven't
you.
really clicked on any of the pictures.
I'm going to try to do pictures, I think, more for Instagram
Oh yeah, 4 years
According
ago we
to Anna.
officially started our home renovation.
and then swear words.
That's awesome though. That's your house?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. It is beautiful. It took a long time. We didn't have stairs for like a year. You just had to take a ladder up there. So bad.
Wait, are you serious? There's
Yeah.
just a ladder? Oh my god.
Where it was like a makeshift staircase. It was wood with plywood. It was so sketchy.
Yikes.
I know. It was crazy. It was dangerous.
So I have a couple other funny stories as I was kind of doing some research on you,
Okay.
and they were really funny.
I'm gonna say this sound.
I told you.
I don't
about-
hear you like that facial expression you're doing right now. I was like, this is actually going to be really funny. I'm excited about this.
I
He's
feel
got a
like
big smile
1
on
out
his
of 10
face.
is really funny.
Okay, well this will
Okay.
be like a 2.5 probably. The story about when you're watching a movie and thought you were cuddling with your husband.
I forgot I shared that. I should not share that story.
You told me this story before you came in.
Because you see, we lived in the basement of his parents for a few years.
Oh, okay.
And so it wasn't uncommon to go. They had like one of those old school couches, the big ones, fluffy with like an Indian tribe, like pattern on it or floral. I couldn't tell I don't know which one it was faded. So that's what it was. And I was rubbing the leg of Ben, his hair, just like a manly leg. And I was rubbing it up and down.
So it was bare leg.
His bare leg,
Right.
shorts, not like
Oh my gosh.
because we were watching it with his parents.
You're pulling little hairs.
I'm just like, tickle, tickle. And I was just rubbing up and down. And then Ben's father started laughing so hard, Scott. And he is the nicest man. And he doesn't laugh like that very often, but he was bare laughing. And it was not a funny movie. And so it's like, that's weird. Rub, rub, rub. And
I would have made it more awkward. I would have like moaned.
No.
It's like, oh.
how much therapy would that require? I'm not even sure. Yeah, so finally, like he was red in the face. He had tears rushing down his face. And he said, Sid. And that's not Ben's leg, right? Oh my gosh. My mother-in-law was like, I already didn't like you.
Did Ben know what was going on?
No.
Like, was he? Oh my.
No, he did not. But everyone got a really good laugh
Good
at
thing
it.
you didn't,
They're like, she
go too far.
farts and she rubs his
She
legs.
farts. She rubs my husband's
Disgusting. Yeah, that did happen. It's horrifying.
Oh, it's so funny. I can only imagine that.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
well, because Cam, we joked about it earlier. How often do we get not our wives mixed up, but they're very
No,
similar.
I've almost pinched his wife's
they're
butt
sisters.
5
Yeah,
times.
well, they're the same height.
Same
Okay.
height,
And
but
so like
I've
you're
walked
walking
behind Jenna.
somewhere Well, and it's happened where one of them's like grabbed my hand thinking it was somebody
That's
else,
right.
like walking,
Oh
Right.
no.
you know, but yeah, we're lucky that it hasn't been something else.
Yeah. That could get really crazy.
See, it would be different if it was the other way around too.
Yeah.
Like if it was the dude rubbing the mother-in-law's leg.
That would
That
that
would
would
be
change.
really awkward.
I don't think that would be a shared story.
Your mom's.
Oh my gosh. Wow. But see, that's the trick. You got to share those stories, right? I don't think a lot of people would share those stories.
I'm
And that's the
very
difference.
comfortable.
Right.
I can share stuff like that, but more like personal stuff.
Right.
That's real, or I'm in the midst of, is harder. If I've gone through it, like I could talk about postpartum depression all day now,
Sure.
because I'm good. But if it's something more serious and it's real right now, I'm like,
Right.
this just makes me
Got to
jump.
get through it first.
Yeah, but I'm getting better at that. So
I think it's important. I mean, and obviously people really respond to it because there aren't a lot of people that are very open, especially, that's kind of the psychological issue that people have with Instagram is they compare themselves to everything that they
Right.
see, right? And so it's good to see, like I like seeing these model pictures that have kind of been trendy where they show like,
two side
they're
by
like,
side
this is what I
angles.
look like while we're trying to get the shot.
Yeah.
And they just look like a totally different person. Like it's cool to show like it's not always this. Like this
Right.
is totally the angle's right, the light's right, the makeup's so it's
And I'm like,
important.
how did you do that angle? I would like to add that to
Like
my
this
account.
was photo 326. We finally got it. But yeah, I think
So,
it's
yeah.
important to be
So if you rub your
vulnerable.
father-in-law's leg, let people know.
Yeah, let people know.
You're not alone.
Yeah. Like how did he have a nice leg or
It's like
tan?
felt so similar to Ben's.
So how long were you rubbing his leg?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, was this
When I
like
think
10
back-
seconds, a minute?
I mean, right now, thinking back and reflecting on it, it feels like like 4 years. It feels like so long. It feels like I was rubbing it forever, like the whole movie. But I don't think it was that long. I don't think he let me rub his leg that
I love
long.
that he just like let it happen, and then, like all he
He
could
should
do
have
is
just
just
put
laugh.
his hand on your hand and just like tickled it.
The things he could have done.
Oh
right?
man.
Made it awkward forever.
Funny.
Never look him in the eye again. I think he's forgotten that story. I hope. Every time I see him, I'm like, I hope he forgot.
But something I think you do a really good job of is like when you do like talk about something serious, you do it in a way that's like, I don't know, you have a good way of talking about it, but then still like mixing in like humor and sarcasm with it. Like how long does it take you to write something like that? Like does it come really natural to you, or like does it take you a while?
No, they're just, it's very natural. And if there's, I try to read it once through and then I just post. So I just write it and then I post it.
Okay.
I don't do anything else at all. I'm like, where is this going to go? Nobody knows. I'm just writing. That's how it is.
Do you just like keep notes of things as they happen?
No, but I should.
These are all just kind of real time. Like
Everything's
this-
real time.
Wow.
But I've heard if I was more organized, I might be more efficient. But
Yeah, I
that
don't know
sounds
who would have
lame.
said something dumb like that. But
I've read a lot of books that suggest those kind of things. And I'm like, you know nothing.
I just heard about
You-
this notes app on my phone.
I have that, but only to save hashtags. Sometimes I write a note, but then I never go back and look at it.
Well, I think it makes.
I'm working on me.
Because if you're writing the stuff down that happens, it's better to do it in the moment. I would imagine.
I think so because you
Right.
have like that energy.
Exactly.
Like you feel the energy of
Right.
it. But if you do it later, it's like feels so fake.
Yeah, I agree.
I like to do real time. And that's why I have a hard time with photo ones, because it's hard to write with children being like, can I have some mac and cheese? And I'm like, no, I just made you chicken and stop asking. And then I get frustrated if I'm trying to do something real quick, but the kids
But
want
then you made the
something
mac and
like
cheese.
love and attention. And I'm like, go away.
They want
Yeah.
love and attention.
I'm like, I'm trying to be Instagram famous. You don't appreciate anything.
I've been capitalizing those two damn T's for 20 years. You're not going to ruin it.
So one more question I have for you. Whenever you do like talk into it, you're always at an angle. You never.
Everyone asks this.
You're like never. Is it?
I'm making eye contact right now,
I know.
viewers.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
listeners.
this whole time you've been looking right at us. I almost kind of expected her to talk like this.
Did you see
She
someone?
talks like that in her videos?
I do.
Yeah.
I look this way. I
She's
don't look
always
straight.
like. It's always at an
Really?
angle, looking
Yes.
off,
Oh wait, like you're
like that.
Yes.
Like why is that?
what? Yeah, what is that?
A lot of people ask, and then I try not to do it,
Yeah.
and then I do it more. So I'm not joking. Well, there's a few things. I've thought a lot about this. I have pondered and meditated
So it's not
at 5
intentional.
a.m. No, it's just me talking.
Okay.
Like, it's weird to look at your own face.
For sure.
You're at an angle almost every time.
Well, like when she talks.
Always.
on
I'm
her
like,
stories-
and my eyes. And sometimes I have to redo it because I'm like, I know people won't understand because they're listening, but I move a lot. I'm jittery. I don't know, crackhead without the crack or something. So there's a few things. One, I have a crooked tooth right here. It's one. It's not even that bad anymore because I had braces twice. So I used to be so self-conscious of it that I'd always like try to like not smile. And now I'm more like, at least I'll smile on this side.
Interesting.
That's a small portion of it. It took me a long time to get to that deepness in my inner child to figure it out. The other one is just that if I'm looking at myself, then I'm looking at myself and I'm distracted. I'm so distracted. And then I forget what I'm talking about. It's true. That is the truth. If I look somewhere else, like if I have like a pivot point type thing, then I'm just like, then my thoughts are going. But if I'm looking at myself, I'm like, oh, I should get my eyebrows done. Like I should do that. When will I have time? I'll never have time. I don't know how to shape my eyebrows. Or I'll be like, oh, 35. It's catching up there, sis. You know, things like that.
Right.
I'm like, a filter's not that bad of an idea, is it? It's there for a reason.
That's right.
So if I see my own face, I get a bit distracted.
Okay.
And then I lose my train of thought. So I just spit it out.
It does make sense. It is really hard to talk into a phone.
That's why you'll never see us do it.
Yeah. I did it, during the whole restaurant closure when we were doing like the food deliveries.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not fun.
It's a talent. So I've always said it. The hardest thing for me is holding my phone. I feel so awkward. I'm always like,
that's why I got the
I
little
hold it
tripod.
at this angle and then I go like this.
I'm like, I'm going to end up on Influencers in the Wild for sure.
I love that account.
Me too.
so
I love
much.
it so much.
Oh.
And I'm just so afraid that I'm going to be like even doing Marco Polo and talking to my sister-in-law like, hey, what's up? And people are going to be like, look at that idiot in her minivan outside a Target. #basic.
Who are some of your favorite accounts that you do follow?
Okay. So I do love Influencer in the Wild, but I save it like a dessert. So I only check it like once every 2 weeks.
Right.
So I could watch several. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
So you
can
It's
binge
so
watch.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like to do Netflix too.
Yeah.
I want to watch all of it at once.
I could handle like a minute at a time and then I'm done. And then I do. So sometimes I like Gary Vee. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over Gary Vee, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, he's brilliant.
He's
I love
so
what
brilliant.
it's just, I don't know.
I kind of
Same
feel like
thing every time.
the message is this, like, this is my problem. And
This
it's
is
like,
my effing
F
problem.
it,
Yeah. It's my effing
them,
problem. F that.
everyone.
Post 70,000 times and it's going to fix
Yeah.
it.
Go to a yard sale, buy stuff, and then sell it.
Buy a card.
Yeah. But also he says some good things too.
Yeah.
I did yesterday listen to some of his podcasts, like his newest episode, because they're short and I like that. And it was really inspiring. It was amazing. It was a good one if you want to check that out.
We'll check it out.
Gary Vee is amazing. He's
so smart.
Yeah, I had to turn off the notifications because it's
I never turn on notifications. I just like
hard.
I think you just have to like when you need that little
Right.
push, grab it, and then
That's
keep going.
smart. I mean, I totally follow the guy still. That's for sure.
Me too. Yeah, I've learned a lot from him.
How much time do you spend on Instagram just like consuming it as opposed to do you just jump on, post, respond? Like, is that what most of your time is spent, or do you like do it just to consume sometimes?
If I'm feeling like extra depressed, I will scroll. Outside of that, it's just me posting.
See, I would think scrolling would be a bad thing to do when you're depressed.
Yeah, it is actually. It's a very toxic decision. You should not do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's better than me. I'm going to
Just
eat
go out
little
and get
Debbie
some-
snacks.
Get some sunlight.
When I'm in a bad place, I will have Taco Bell one hand, Instagram in the other.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. So
5 little Debbie's in. I should probably go outside.
I know I could eat a lot of them in one sitting and they're not even good anymore.
They really aren't that good, but it is hard to just
I've
eat
not
one
had
of
one
them.
for a while.
Nostalgic though.
It's been like 7
Yeah, I
years.
think you're right. It is a nostalgic thing.
It is.
Well, who else? Anybody else that we need to know about? Gary Vee, Influencers in the Wild.
Nitty Gritty podcast.
Yeah,
is
that's a
my
good one.
favorite account to
Yeah,
watch.
our Instagram is really good.
It's fire.
We're really good at it.
I really do. I watch Anna's stories because I do learn a lot from her.
Yeah.
And now that I want to actually try to do something
Right.
other than just.
She's amazing. We love
Yeah,
her.
I really love her too. I feel like she's mentioned in every one of your podcasts.
She
So my
kinda
goal
is.
was to not mention her. So I was like,
Sorry.
I'm not going to mention
You
Anna.
failed.
Failed.
No, I really do. I appreciate how much information she gives out, especially when you're ready to start doing something
Right.
3 years later. Then it's
I love that
helpful.
you say 3 years like it's this long time. Like you're kind of a savant with Instagram if you think about it. There aren't that many people that jump to 100K followers in 3 years.
Well,
I
I feel
mean,
like
I know
most of them
some.
that did, like, there was
There's
early.
tactics.
Well, no, but it was early, and then they all talked about like
Yeah,
it
that's
was
true.
easier
You did
to
it,
grow
like, the
when it was
algorithm.
early.
I feel like I've been
times.
stuck at my number for a long time though, so
Do you
it happens. It goes up and down and then stays the same
Yeah.
for a long
Right.
time. So when that happens, I just don't worry about it. I just lose sleep and a little bit of abuse.
Little Debbie, Leslie.
It's fine. Go to my therapist. Tell her about Instagram. She's like, "That's cute. My last
Didn't we just talk about
client
that last week?
was abused for 19 years." I'm like, I just don't know the right angle though.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Therapy, huh?
I'm going.
I love it.
I love
like when
therapy.
people talk, but are you being serious?
Dead serious.
Good.
I started
I like
in
when people
January.
talk about that.
I am doing EMDR therapy.
Yeah,
It's life
I've done it.
I don't know what that
Life-changing.
is. What's the
It's
MDR?
the
distraction therapy is what I call it.
well, yeah.
I don't have to look straight ahead. I could look to the side.
So it's like a light you follow with your eyes, and it's supposed to kind of mimic.
So you
We're
just,
talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah, I just want to see how you explain it.
It's supposed to kind of mimic what the brain does during REM sleep, like getting rid of stuff that's in there that you want out.
so you're like in a dark room, like in a cat. Like
It's not even a dark room. It's just
No,
you
but
just
that
watch
sounds
this-
way cool.
You just watch this like light, and you're supposedly when you're in a deep sleep, your eyes move a certain way.
left to right,
Okay.
And-
rapid eye movement.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so that's what it's mimicking. And it's
Hold on, you
supposed-
just sit there and just watch this light go back and forth.
Yeah, you have any? Did you have the vibrations in the hands?
No.
Ooh, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I haven't had the vibrations in the hands. That sounds
There's
exciting.
two.
I just did the eye thing, and it's kind of like it used to be this, like finger back and forth, and you just kind of follow. But now it's like, how can that mimic your brain? Because you'd have to be so exact. But now they have like this screen thing.
Yeah,
that
I've used the
bounces
screen.
back and forth.
And in each hand, you hold a little device that does a buzz,
Okay.
and the light moves with the whichever hand is buzzing. So it's distraction, which will allow you to talk about more traumatic things and open your mind. So it's like a maze. And
So you are talking while
Yes.
you're following. So it's not like you're just sitting in silence
Sometimes.
following the
Yeah,
light.
it's not like a normal conversation, but you will talk about things that you're trying to.
Interesting.
get
I've
rid
never
of.
heard about this
oh,
before.
I think it's incredible because
It's
I've
awesome.
tried therapy twice before and I hated it. I was like, this is like every joke ever made. She's
Right.
like, what are your feelings? I'm like, are you effing
There
kidding
are
me?
a lot
Why
of-
would you ask that?
There are a lot of bad ones,
Oh, you have
and
to
that's
spend
what
time
people
finding
don't.
the right person.
Like people don't understand.
And the right style. Because I've heard from people, because I talked a little bit on my Instagram stories about it,
Uh-huh.
that it didn't work well for them. They didn't like it. They preferred sitting and talking. And I prefer to be distracted so that I could actually talk about it without being sarcastic and be like, what do you have for me today, therapist? I need a good tweet. So
Right.
this makes me like actually pay attention.
Right.
And it's been super helpful. So it just like opens your mind to stuff and you could address it.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's awesome. People
think
need to
everyone
talk
should
about
go.
it. It's like Dale Murphy said, and well, I don't know which one's going first, but if you haven't heard, Dale Murphy's going to be on our podcast. So anyway, but
Can
he
you not
talked
mention
about.
other guests in
Yeah,
my
I am so
episode?
sorry. He talked about labels. I thought that was cool. Like
Uh-huh.
we were talking about life coaches, and he's just like, we should, if we just called psychologists
Or
coaches,
Yeah.
then it wouldn't
Instead
be
of
so
going to counseling,
taboo.
you're getting coaching.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really
And-
is what
and
it
it is
but
true, marriage
maybe more
coaching.
effective,
yeah.
think.
Well, I think it's really taboo here. I think
which is such a shame.
it is a shame. Like, and
Do you feel like it's different other places?
yes,
Really?
I feel like it's a lot more accepted in most places. I think very religious places, we have a tendency to really focus on like, well, he'll help me, right? When in all reality, we're supposed to do as much as we can on
Right.
our own, and then he'll. So I think therapy is a really, and therapy it's a taboo word. Like let's call it life coaching or marriage coaching. It is that. So, I mean, you got to talk about it. You got to address it. And you're talking to somebody who's trained to deal with it and help you, move past it. And it's a healthy thing. And so I say the same thing about marriage counseling. Like if you're married, you should be going to counseling at least a couple times a year.
We've never done marriage counseling.
You need to do it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We just listen to like Eminem together.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good too.
It's great.
I've never tried that.
I just get mad at him and don't communicate. I hold grudges for years.
We just listen to Eminem together. But yeah, so
No, it's
I think
great.
it's important to talk about because I think
Me
here
too.
it is starting to catch up. People are starting to realize like, okay, it's not weird.
Yeah, I
to
think
do
I'll
that.
start talking about it more, but because I just started in January, I didn't feel ready because I
Right.
was like, this is ugly
Yeah.
and hard.
Well,
and
you don't even have to talk about
why you're going.
the specific, like just
Thank you, parents.
Yeah. Stupid pig.
I hate animals.
Scared me.
I hate
I'm
animals so
vegetarian.
much. I love your barbecue place. I love that you kill animals for food. You're my
True,
hero.
I killed animals. It was funny. We were driving to Lake Powell last week along these lines of kill animals. This sounds bad, but we were driving down through between like Panguitch and Kanab. There's tons of just cattle ranches. And I just kept going like 2, 4, 6, 8. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, there's 2 briskets on every cow.
I knew
Like,
that was
is
going
horrible.
there. Amazing. That's so funny.
So yeah, but no, it's cool. I mean, it's cool that you talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in such a good place with it now, and I'm like, I hated it, and I didn't know. I don't know if you guys know, but there's such thing as a therapy hangover. Are you?
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
Did you not experience it?
I've never heard. Totally. I
Okay.
know what you're talking. I've never heard the term hangover, but you are.
Oh, I
like, if
googled
you
it because I
have,
was like,
a-
what is wrong with me?
Yeah, like they even tell. It's like
Especially
it's like when you go to
that
the
style.
chiropractor or something. They say drink a lot of water
Right.
because I just adjusted you or whatever. I remember the very first time that I went. He told me he's like, the next few days, drink a ton of water and just rest. Like you're gonna
Mine's
be
you're
like.
gonna need liquor. That was messed up.
It was crazy, and he was right. Like the next 2 or 3 days, I was just
What?
sapped. Like I had
You're
no energy. I
exhausted
was
to a whole new
like
level.
it
Really?
physically
Yeah.
takes it out of you. It's wild.
Yeah.
And so it just goes to show how
Like how much
Like how
energy
much-
you were using to keep it in.
100%.
yeah, well, and what stress physically does to you,
Yeah.
right? Like any trauma or stress, it really does physically affect you more than you think. And so when you unload all that stuff, it does. You feel it for a few
And along
days.
those lines, like you were saying, that it takes your energy because you're holding on, or your energy is going somewhere else.
Yeah.
She explained it so well to me that it's like holding a beach ball underwater for years.
Right.
And you're just using all your energy to hold something down. And then once you let it up, you will have more energy to use in other places that are more beneficial to your life.
Right.
And so you
But you
got
got to recover first.
yeah.
Right?
I did not know.
Because when you
I
let the
thought- I was
beach ball up, you're gonna be tired from holding it down for so long.
Exactly. So almost after every session, I'm so tired, and so
Yeah, I've
and
never
then
heard it
sometimes
called
I'm
the
not.
hangover.
Oh,
That's
I
pretty
looked it
good.
up. There was a term.
Huh.
One night I was like, I was so exhausted, and I was like, is this normal or what is happening? Like, I don't want to go back.
Right.
This is the worst because it does get worse before it gets better. And I read the term therapy.
I mean, it is kind of the perfect time.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you feel better afterward.
Yeah.
It's wild because, I mean, a lot of this was like for my parents' divorce and stuff. And I was married.
old
We
were
had
you?
kids. I was 16. And, you don't think that it affects you because, I mean, it had been like 10, 15 years. But the first time we sat down, he's like, I don't know what type of therapy. It wasn't EMDR, but it was something where like it brings things up, and it totally did. Like 10 minutes in, like I'm just acting all tough, like this is stupid.
And then you're bawling.
And then all of a sudden it does. Like all these things that I had just kind of buried for however long just start coming up, and it was wild. I just start crying. It was wild, but it was really affecting my marriage. Just because I didn't really realize how much stuff that I needed to just deal with. And so it helped a ton. And I mean, I still go, but it is the whole physical side of it's wild.
It's so real.
So go to therapy, everyone, or go to coaching.
Thanks. Follow.
We'll call it coaching.
We need to get like a therapist sponsor because we talk
right.
about it probably. in
I've
every
wanted to
episode.
invite the guy that I go to in here because he's
should.
incredible.
I think, especially from mentioning it even just a little bit, so many
Right.
people are interested
Yep.
in it and want to know more. And like you said, it's taboo for some reason.
yeah, it is
And-
kind of
Well, it's because you're like admitting I think people think if I'm doing that, I'm like admitting failure.
Right.
Like I can't do this on my own. Like,
or that you can't recover on your own.
Yeah.
Like sometimes something happens to you that's not your fault. And you're like, okay, that happened. Let's move on.
Right.
And you try to get through try to be a survivor before you're before you go through the process of, I was a victim.
Yeah.
This happened to me, whatever it is.
Right.
And it happened. And I have to go through and deal with that properly so that I can be a survivor.
Yeah.
And so that was probably my biggest thing is I just was like, I'm just going to be super positive and funny. And then all the darkness will go away. But that's not how it works.
Well, and it is interesting because a lot of successful people, like there are not many things in life that you can do by yourself.
No.
Like we do ask for help in so many different areas of our life. So why is it so hard to ask for help?
And
in
it's
that one?
especially when it's the most effective. It's something that actually will change because I've done lots of self-care, self-love things.
Right.
But I would say therapy is the absolute most number one top form of self-love.
It's true because everyone else that you're going to talk to generally has, it's not that they won't be honest with you, but they may be biased in the sense that they want to help you feel better instead of actually help you talk about the things that you need to talk about.
Or they, like you said before, some people might not be trained
Right.
to know what to say.
No, absolutely.
And so then
right.
it makes it awkward for everyone instead of being like, I know exactly what to say because I've been doing this for 40 years and I
Right.
know how to handle this. And that helps.
Yeah. Something
Helps
else
a
you
lot.
brought up though is like, if you've tried it before and it didn't work, like look for a different method of it, right? Like 'cause
Right.
there's
Or
all
just a different person.
there's the different people, there's different methods.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Personality matters.
Yeah.
Like if you're uncomfortable sitting with somebody, you're not going to share your darkest secrets and you're not going to be comfortable because with the EMDR, I shut my eyes a lot of the times too because of the vibrations.
Right.
And so you want to be comfortable closing your eyes in a room with somebody that's like, tell me, I want you to notice how that feels, where you feel it, what comes up when you think about this. Like you'd be
Right.
like, are you watching me? Like you're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so you need someone you're comfortable with and
Totally right.
And it's and I feel like it's worth, if someone doesn't work out, then go to someone else.
Well, you can't worry about hurting people's feelings. Like
No.
my wife wanted to try a different marriage counselor like a year ago. In the first meeting, I was just like, I hate this person. I won't say who it is, but they dove right in and it was very like aimed at me before this person even knew anything about us, our issues. Like, so it was very kind of
Wow.
by the book.
Yeah.
Instead of, there was no real like talking through things and connecting before, you can't just like pick out the problem right away. You got to talk. And so anyway,
for some people that might work really well,
well,
right?
and it's true. And excuse me. What was interesting was my wife started kind of defending me to this person,
So it helps.
which
You're
I
like,
guess
"She
was
loves
great
me."
because I was like, oh my gosh, she's on my team right now for a second. This is awesome. I got to write this down. But it was kind of cool that for both of us, it was kind of like, yeah, let's go back to our other person. And so yeah, you can't worry about hurting someone's feelings. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They don't care. Like the therapist
Right.
doesn't care. It's
Right.
you got to use logic. And so
They want someone they want to help too. It goes
Yeah.
both ways. Like if you feel connected with someone, you're going to give more.
Right.
And I feel like I found the perfect therapist. And
So
but again,
how
it
did
took
you find your therapist, if you don't mind me
Google.
asking? Wait, really?
Yeah.
You just looked him up?
Well, I
and-
mean, I prayed a lot about
Right.
it because I didn't want to go back because I didn't like it the other two times, and I did not want to face all the things I needed to face. But it was starting to affect me. I didn't know this, but if you've had trauma, it can come back up years later, especially, and it's common like around your 30s.
Right.
And so that's what was happening, and it was affecting my life. So my husband suggested maybe I consider some therapy again.
How'd you handle that when he said that? Were you mad at him?
Well, I'm not talking to him still. It's been since
No,
December.
That's a scary thing because it's,
Well, I told he's so good at communicating,
that's good.
and I mean so good as it's so annoying.
Right.
He'll tell me how he feels, and he is right. I don't know. I think I was in such a bad place again out of nowhere that I recognized that something was off, and due to I was having flashbacks and things and out of nowhere. And so I was like, okay, I need to do this. And then so I prayed a lot, and then I Googled, and EMDR kept popping up, which was crazy because I didn't even know what that was.
Right.
So I felt really drawn to EMDR. I looked it up what it meant. Then I looked up therapist in my area that did EMDR, and a lady, I don't know what it was. It was just like her.
Wow.
And then I called her and I didn't want to go. And I was like, I hope that she'll cancel on me. And it took about 6 weeks to get in with her. And
That's usually a good sign.
Yeah, but also I was right. I knew
That's
I'd
the
be,
thing,
because
it's
you're
hard.
up and down with
Yeah.
it, and so I was like,
For
if
sure.
I'm in a good place, I'm not going to go.
Right.
But I decided to go, and it was awful. The first session was
always awful.
because I don't like crying. I like jokes.
Right.
I don't like tears. And if I even like sob a little to like a country song, which I do in my van alone, I get embarrassed. And so I was like everything like to not cry. So you're like snorting, like heaving.
Where does
I'm
that
not gonna cry.
Where does that come from? Like the crying thing?
We're working on it.
Yeah, like that's interesting.
Legitimately.
It's good
She
to cry
said
once
she's
in a
never
while.
had someone more embarrassed than me
Really?
in all of her years. I'm like, I'm not embarrassed. Follow me on Instagram. I'll share everything. So I don't know. I'm super cool because you can connect things. And I thought like inner child healing was embarrassed or dumb. Like it sounded silly, but it's real.
Oh yeah.
I did not know.
No,
Like,
we
you go
carry a
through-
lot more from our childhood than people know. And that's
Yeah,
the thing.
and
Like if
even,
you're
like,
struggling with something, if you're like depression's really, I mean, it's real, and it's almost a fascinating thing to go in and, if you're not feeling good and you don't even know why, just go in and talk to somebody, and
you could figure it
you're
out. And
probably going to figure it out.
Yeah, it's interesting. It will go through layers of your memories. And then for what I do, she has me now go and talk to me as a kid. And that is
Interesting.
insane.
That would be
It's
that would
insane.
be hard.
Yeah, to be like,
That would be weird.
it's
Yeah,
weird.
all the role playing stuff it's like
I'm
still
so good
struggle
at it
with
though.
that.
I slay it now.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I was
cool.
super uncomfortable with it. For
Yeah, once
about
you let
6
your guard
weeks.
down, it's
Well, I think you sometimes will get to the place of being like, I am ready to do whatever I need to do
Right.
and move forward. And so I think that once you get there and you're just like, this is so stupid, but I'll do it. That's where
rock
I'm at.
bottom can be a good place.
Rock bottom is really good. So
That's when you'll actually. I mean, we've had so many cool stories of people hitting their bottom, right?
Yeah.
And
I think that's
it's really hard to fix anything before that.
Do you want a quote for that?
Do you know what's so funny? I just thought that, but I didn't want to like make it funny by saying like, "Do you have a quote for this?"
Yeah.
But
are you a quoter?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love quotes
he's an
too. Which
encyclopedia.
quote do you got? Do it.
So until the pain of same is more than the pain of change, nothing will change.
Yeah, that's
That's so accurate for where I was.
Yeah.
100%. That's exactly because you can't hold down that beach ball
Yep.
forever and move forward.
Yep.
Like you're either going to stay in that spot holding down your beach ball or you're going to let it go so you can move forward.
Yep.
And that's where I was ready to
That
move
is a
forward
cool
with it.
analogy, the beach ball analogy.
Yeah, it helped me a lot to understand what was happening. And I did a lot of research in that 6 weeks before I had my first session. And I learned that a lot of people that do hold on to things and don't address it, they're more sick and more tired.
Totally.
Because you are subconsciously using a lot of energy to not feel something
Yep.
instead of just facing that pain
Yep.
and like living in it, just living in it for a moment. We fight it our whole life instead of living
Well,
in
it's
it
gotta
for a
affect your
minute.
Sleep. Like I saw
Your
that post that you
relationships.
did with, like, if this is moving, you're stressed. Do you remember that?
I don't remember my post.
It was like it was some weird like purple and
Oh,
yellow.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
The
if it's
Yuri
spinning,
artist.
You're really stressed.
Yeah.
Like that's really. It was still, by the way. So I think I'm good.
I've
But
heard that wasn't an accurate post.
I was gonna
though.
say, like, is that real?
That guy just painted a picture of me. Did you see that? Yeah, I'll show you guys.
Is it the same post? Anyway,
Same artist. He painted my face looking to the side. For real.
I eat fries from the side.
What do
My
you mean?
wife makes fun of me every
Do
time.
it.
It goes through the side. Like when I eat fries, it's through the side of my mouth. I don't know why. It's not like straight on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I never even
The
knew,
next
but my
fry's
wife
happening
always
that
makes fun
way.
of me.
Oh, that's
Like when I eat fries, I go like through the side of my mouth, not just.
That's
through the front.
amazing.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I can't wait to watch you eat fries next.
I
I
know.
have no shame. I'll eat fries in front of anyone.
However you want. Because you
man.
have a therapist and you
That's
can
right.
talk about
I'll go
anything.
talk to Kevin if you hurt my feelings, and I'll be fine. Well, that's cool. I'm glad. I like this last part because it's.
I mean,
It's funny because I always consider myself a funny person, but there's always something that. Sometimes I feel like humor is a really good way to kind of hide the serious stuff that we're not really dealing
cannot
with.
relate
right?
to that. I don't know what you're talking about.
And so I like that. It's cool that you finally, because I still see it, right? I mean, with me, even with you, like when we start touching a serious thing, it's
You're
like, I'll say something funny, we'll change the subject.
Yeah.
So, but it's really cool because I think it is important I think it's really important for somebody that is so open and just, if I go there for humor, it's such a great way to connect with people and be able to get serious with them, right?
Yeah.
If you're funny, like they feel connected, it feels safe, and then you can kind of break through.
Yeah.
And so, somebody like you can help people a lot, I think, by talking about this stuff.
I hope so as I move forward after my Anna challenge.
Right.
See what she can do for me.
Anna, what? Wait, are we talking like the?
So she just started a challenge on Monday.
Oh, what is it?
It's just her 2-week
her
course.
Instagram challenge thing where she does.
See, I bought the course, but I've been slacking.
I never was going to do something like this, but then
she's so good though.
Have you ever met Anna before?
I've met her twice in person. And one time I met her, we talked for like a half an hour-ish, and she was going through my account and being like, you don't understand what this is and what you could do with it. And I was like, You're right. I do not have a clue. And so I learned so much from her in that time that she was so kind to talk to me. And so so that's why I was like, okay, if I'm going to do something, and I just feel in a good place now.
Right.
Because I think you could write humor anytime, but you can't write some serious stuff when you're not in a place of healing. You're more in a place of like, I'm really messed up. Let me give you some advice, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But when you could write a little bit more from a little bit more healing, I think it's better, more effective.
So do you ever want to write anything more, like a book or work like outside of social media?
Just tweets forever. Yeah, I actually wrote a book.
You did?
But it's not done because, why? I'm
still finishing the remodel.
Yeah. I think I'm like a perfectionist / procrastinator. So I'm like, this is going to be perfect later. So I never finish anything.
But you really are writing a book?
I wrote like 90,000 words. It's done. And I wrote it in 3 weeks, 4 years ago. So I wrote it. Yeah. It's really like, it's mediocre.
What's it about?
It's really mediocre.
It's aggressively mediocre.
I wrote about the postpartum depression and the placenta previa experience.
Okay.
But it's my same writing where it's like a serious topic, but humorous.
Right.
I think it's funny. Sometimes when I'm reading it, I laugh. I just have to finish it. And I honestly was having a hard time that I haven't finished it until I realized this part, the first part that I've written came from like a really raw place, and I like it. And I haven't been able to finish this next part. And I think it's because I needed to go to therapy and sort some things out and have clarity. And so I think I'm going to be able to finish the next part from a different angle. And so I'm actually excited now.
No,
instead of like,
cool.
oh, why didn't I write it?
I think a lot of books are like that. I think there's a lot of books that take a lot more time than we think, or it's been sitting on like a manuscript's just been sitting on someone's shelf for
That's mine. But I'm going to start.
But that's cool. Because, I mean, now you can kind of fill that in at the end. And
yeah, that's been my goal from the start, is eventually to actually have a book, which is what I wanted to do since I was a little girl, is be an author.
That's cool.
So.
Well, this has been awesome. This is going to be, hopefully it'll help some people.
Yeah.
Especially that last, 30 minutes
therapy
or so.
stuff.
Because I know
That's
we
important.
mention it a lot, but to actually kind of to get into it, and just find out that you can go to Google. Like, I think I found our first therapist through our bishop at church.
Oh, okay.
Like they
I found one through
there's
my
generally
bishop.
like a list of people that they have, but yeah, anyway. So thanks
Google.
for
Google
coming
and God.
in, and thanks for sharing and Google and God.
What
that
else
should
do
be
you
the
need?
title of your book.
Google and God.
Google and God. How I made my dreams come true.
We just named it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
It actually would be pretty good name.
Google and God. Don't anyone take it. It's mine.
Yeah, trademark. Don't hurry. No,
Well,
but thank you
so much.
This is awesome.
Very,
Thanks for
very
having
cool.
me.
Let's go eat barbecue.
Okay.